On this Kid Safari, I'm going to teach you about dimensions. Dimensions are really cool, and they're like different types of things.
Yeah, everything can be measured in different kinds of dimensions, right?
Yeah.
So what's the first dimension? Or actually, what is the 0th dimension? Let's draw it out for people. All right, Lai, draw out the first, or the very beginning. What does everything start at?
0.
0, which is?
A dot.
A dot. Of no real size at all. Basically, just almost like nothing. But if it starts at 0, it's the dot. And the first dimension is?
If you went into the 0th dimension, you would be smaller than anything.
Yeah, it's kind of an infinitesimal dot.
Yeah.
It's a big word, huh?
Yeah.
Okay,
the first dimension, which is the 1 dimension, is gonna be a line.
Yeah. So why don't you draw out a nice big line?
Yeah, like a line.
Draw a bigger one.
Okay.
Cool. So that line is measuring just length, right?
Uh-huh.
There's no width or height from it, huh? Okay, so what is the second dimension?
The second dimension will be a plane, like just a paper. Like you're basically flat in that dimension. If you hopped to this dimension, you would be flat.
Yeah, almost like this paper itself. We measure this in length and width, but there's no height to it, right? Well, actually, if you went really, really close, there actually is some thickness to paper. That's why if you stack multiple papers together, it starts getting thicker, huh?
Yeah.
So it seemed perfectly flat, but there is a layer of atoms that make the paper. That's why even this paper exists in the 3rd dimension, but a 2nd dimension would have absolutely no flatness, huh?
No.
I'm sorry, no thickness. No thickness. Yeah, you're right. It's completely flat. So go ahead. What's next?
The next dimension, which the 3rd dimension we are in, is a cube. Let's see if I can try to draw a cube. Okay?
Okay, buddy. That's pretty good. See everyone how that looks kind of like a cube? Want to see a cool one?
Yeah.
Watch this. If you draw a square and a square and you attach these corners, which is that cube coming, is this square the one that's coming out at you, or is it that square that's coming out at you? Is that weird? It almost looks both ways, huh?
Uh-huh.
But really, something in the 3rd dimension
is 3D, just like this marker. This marker is 3D.
Yep.
There is no such thing in these dimensions.
Right. If you
I can tell you a 3rd dimension cool thing.
Okay, what's that?
So from the 3rd dimension and up, everything is 3D. Except for if it's the 7th. Or if it's the 7th.
It gets crazy there, huh?
Yeah, it gets really crazy at the 7th.
So what is the 4th dimension?
4th dimension. See how we went to a dot? So every type of 4, it goes back into a dot, and it's kind of like a pattern. So the 4th dimension is a dot.
Actually, it's a line of time.
A timeline.
So essentially imagine everything in the 3rd dimension back to the dot, and then the 4th dimension in this case is a line. The past, present, future, right? Infinitely aligned. I mean, there's to our knowledge, there's no end either way, because what happens before the beginning? What happens after the end? just this kind of, I don't know, infinite line of time. So every event ever is taking place in this line. All the third dimension events. So each one actually gets bigger. Even if it's infinite, this infinite line will only be an infinite line, but this plane of two dimension could be endless in a plane, which is going to be infinite lines every direction. But then this is going to be planes and planes and planes and planes and planes and planes. I mean, so and all these other.
So we are stuck going one path, just forward. They can go back.
If you were in the fourth dimension,
Yes.
Yeah, you would move forward and backward.
Yeah.
So this is where it starts getting really crazy, huh? When we move into the fifth dimension.
Yeah.
What is the fifth dimension, Lili?
I don't know.
You do.
Is it a line? Or is it a dot?
Well, let's do this. Let's go grab your Baki. All right, so here we have Lysander's favorite blanket. He's called Soft Part since he's a little baby because this side is very soft.
And this part is...
Not as soft. So half of it's soft, half of it's not as soft. So we got Soft Part. But what we want to use this for, hang on. See all these paths?
Yeah.
So imagine you're on a path, right? This is your timeline.
Yeah.
And you come to a moment and you want to make a decision. Are you going to go right? Or are you going to go left? Are you going to eat at McDonald's? Or are you going to eat at Taco Bell? Right? Any type of thing. Are you going to flip a coin? Is it going to be heads? Is it going to be tails? And so whatever one you end up doing is your path. However, if you could go back in time in the fourth dimension and change your choice, you can move on a different path in the fifth dimension. So essentially, we're starting this pattern over again, where the first dimension is a line, second a plane, third a cube, right? Just to represent them.
Actually, the first one's a dot.
Fair enough, Stelly, fair enough. The fourth dimension, think of a line of time, and that could curve, right? It can curve, it's okay. But it's a line, and it's only got length. It's only moving past and future and past, right? Forward and backward. And the fifth dimension goes back to essentially being a plane of infinite lines, infinite possibilities, right?
That looks like a rectangle.
So you are going along this timeline and okay, decided you're gonna go to this school and are you gonna go into soccer or gymnastics? Oh, I'm gonna go to gymnastics, right? And you keep choosing your path and decide I'm gonna go back in time on the fourth dimension and change to soccer. I'm gonna go back in time and change to a different school. But if you wanted to jump to a different timeline, a different world...
Like you don't have to go back in time, you actually can jump, jump, and jump.
The only way to do that would be if you're right here, and say you want to go to right here, you would have to move in a higher dimension and fold it over, drop off here, everything comes unfolded, and now here you are at a new point in a different timeline, a different reality. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. So you can go all these choices, all the possibilities.
Yes.
Every single thing.
So imagine your blanket extending on forever and ever and ever and ever, and you have all these choices before you to make your new path. But the sixth dimension is the ability to move this in a higher, like to move it in a way that it never could. Just like the second dimension is a flat plane. Imagine if this paper could never, because moving the paper up is moving it in the third dimension space. Does that make sense? Because in second dimension, there is no up. Up does not exist, right? So this paper can't bend up because that's third dimension movement. So in the fifth dimension,
you can't do this.
in the fifth dimension, we move this in the sixth dimension. So essentially the sixth dimension we can think of as a cube again. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of almost like a 3-dimension. The 3rd dimension gives you all this additional space. The 6th dimension allows space for the 5th dimension to even fold on itself.
Yeah. Thanks for watching this episode of Dimensions. Next week we'll talk about the higher dimensions. Thanks for watching this Kid Safari. Make sure to subscribe.